Today is June 1st, and it is 6:11 p.m. We are opening the Recreation Committee meeting. As a preliminary matter, this is Mike Volpone, Chair of the Newbury Recreation Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda and present can hear me. Board members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. David Brohl.
Affirmative.
David Dempsey.
Affirmative.
Celine Muldowney.
Affirmative.
Mark Sand.
Affirmative.
And Alicia Greco, our select woman.
She's muted.
I'm here.
Yeah, I know. Employee reps or other town attendees, when I call your name, please affirm. There is no one else in this meeting. Anticipated guest speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. As of right now, there are none. Good evening. This is June 1st at 6:12 p.m. an open meeting of the Newbury Recreation Committee, which is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows the public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment if anybody is joining us after we start. For this meeting, the Newbury Recreation Committee is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the Recreation Committee agenda, which can be found on the Recreation Committee page on the town's website. The agenda identifies how the public may join the meeting. This agenda can also be accessed from the website's homepage by clicking on the box that says agendas at the top of the news box. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may also be able to see you, and that take care not to screen share your computer unless you're requested to so by me. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. With that, we are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Can I get a call the meeting to order, please, at 6:14 p.m.? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Yes.
Any discussion? All is in favor?
Aye.
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 We've already done the members who are present. Reading of the previous meeting's minutes. Mark sent those out over the weekend. Did anybody have any issues with those? I thought they were okay. I had no problems. All right.
Make a motion to pass meetings as written.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the previous meeting's minutes?
Aye.
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 We lost
Dave?
David. We lost him.
Okay. Well, we got 4 at this point, 3 at that point, so we're okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Aye.
Okay, so we got 4-0 vote on that. Celine, any correspondence we have to go through?
We have had bills over the last few months. One was the Byfield Water District for $3607, which I paid. One was for, excuse me, Northeast Nursery, which was fertilizer, I believe. That was $1,200, $1,228.
Is that an annual thing for us?
I think that's once a year.
There might be an application in the fall.
What was that?
Usually there's an application in the fall. There's one for weeds and growth, and then an application in the fall. You just double check that.
I'm just curious if we paid it last year, if it's something new, because if it's new, we got to add it to the annual
It
expenditure?
rings a bell. It didn't
Seem new?
surprise me. I think it's something we pay once a year.
Okay. If you, I
And
mean,
then-
I don't remember off the top of my head. That's why I'd rather be safe.
Then we had to pay a bill for propane for $431.
431? Is that to fill the tank back up, or is that, and how often do we receive that? Does anybody have a ballpark idea?
No.
I'd have to go back and check the expenditures on that.
Save all these bill pay things, but I haven't tracked, like, I could go back and,
I'll check, let me check with, granted, we already paid the bill, I presume, right, Celine?
yep, everything's been paid.
Give me a second, I'm just writing this down. And 431 for propane. I just want to check those, make sure those aren't anything different than we've already seen. Because it makes a difference in our budget if you're adding another $1,600,
Again,
depending how often.
I've saved all these bill schedules since I've been doing them,
Mhm.
just since the beginning. They're on my computer, kind of in a folder, but I haven't like broken it out into an Excel spreadsheet or anything.
Okay.
I guess could be done.
Yeah, I have some of the ones too that since in the last year or so that I've been getting, so. Any other correspondence, bills or claims?
No, no, there was a correspondence today from Jason DeRozier. Everybody saw that about the fall. We could talk about that at the appropriate time.
I also have another,
Got one from Stefano for his application as well.
I also received a email that was forwarded me by the town administrator. Woman from local, Elisa Sherman, saying, hope this email finds you well. I live here in Byfield and own a yoga studio in Raleigh for the past 10 years. As you know, we are currently shut down. I'm not sure what phase we will be reopened, but may have reopened by. But many yoga studios, small businesses are in fear of losing their business. I'm trying to find an outdoor space that I could possibly use for classes through the warmer months. I'm not sure who I need to speak to get Mantis Field. She's from 23 Forest Street in Byfield. Tracy sent it on with the outdoor class restrictions, 6 feet of separation, 12 feet of separation between activity stations. Face coverings must be worn at all times. No shared equipment, tools, and materials. Gathering must be of less than 10 people, including staff and instructors. Class must have pre-registration process. Temporary signage needed to be in place. All equipment must be disinfected after. I responded back to her asking a couple of questions. I wanted to know if she had any idea times and dates and what time and how many people she was looking at. And she says, I do not have an exact date and time. I'm thinking a morning class once a week and perhaps an early evening class once a week. And I am open to what you can offer to me. As far as numbers, I will follow all state rules and social distancing and the number of students who can attend. This will be by donation. So I don't know if the only thing I got to find out back, does that mean is it for profit for her, or is she just making a donation to something else? That's the only thing I couldn't get clarified. But I'm just going to bring it up in a new business just to say I have someone that wants to rent the field out or use the field, but it's a local resident.
Well, wherever she falls on that grid, right? Or is she asking for us to donate the field?
That's the question. She wants to know what's available for one thing, but if it's the summer months, there's no one going anyway.
She only
we
needs
also have
one
to-
field.
She'll probably just need
Can we
me
talk
part of
about
a
this
field.
under, can we talk about this under new business?
Yeah. So just give you an idea, that was the correspondence I received. Old business. The first thing on the list is the court at Central Street, Byfield. Alicia, am I okay to talk about what you and I talked about before?
Absolutely.
Okay. Alicia and I had a conversation about an hour ago, just to discuss the status of the field. We do have a meeting with the Finance Committee tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The Board of Selectmen have voted in favor of giving us donating $90,000 towards the building of a basketball court by a vote of 4-1. The Finance Committee has not approved it. We are meeting tomorrow night with them. Hopefully we can convince them. And if either way, it is on the warrant. It'll be going on the June 23rd meeting for the town. So
Sweet.
It's good news on our end. We have, we originally asked for David, and David, correct me, was it 105 last time?
Yeah, I think when we went in there last time, we were asking for 105, right around there. Yeah.
So if the party that was willing to give the $10,000 previously is still able to do so, plus the money that we could still possibly get as a contribution from the Triton Youth Basketball, that certainly helps us get to where we need to, and then we can continue trying to work there. But we still got some work ahead of us too regarding this coming meeting. Any comments?
Good
Sounds
news.
great.
Good news.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia,
Yeah,
for your
I
help.
would, oh, you're welcome. I have some comments. The finance committee and others feel as it is being the best interest of this warrant article. If you guys had a presentation to explain, short, doesn't have to be long, maybe, 4 slides at the most, explaining your rationale behind this expenditure. And I think the fact that it is possibly a revenue generating feature that the town needs to be highlighted.
We have the slides from the last presentation there. They spell out exactly that. Now we have the opportunity to either clean them up or leave them as is, but it's just the money we're gonna have to now just adjust back to 90,000, if that's what they're presenting us with.
I think I just wanted you all to be prepared that to speak to it and to field any questions. Decide who's gonna, I don't know, hopefully you can all come to town meeting. Town meeting is scheduled on June 23rd at Triton Regional High School Auditorium. It's an 800-seat auditorium, and at the most, we usually get 200 people at town meeting, so we'll be able to socially distance. We need 40 for a quorum. I just hope everybody can make it.
That's at 7 o'clock.
Masks will be required. Yeah, masks will be required.
June 23rd.
Yes,
Okay.
Tuesday.
everybody, if you can put that on one, that's 5 votes right here towards it, so we certainly could use it
I can
Yeah.
be there.
towards a
I
vote.
can be there.
And if you can corral any, anybody else that that's in support of it, that would be great.
Just making sure I saved it on my calendar. So, the online, speaking of calendar, online calendar. I mean, I know a lot of this stuff we're going to be kind of going back and forth with, get an idea. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to Susan or if she had any input or whatever, or if we need to talk to someone else.
We haven't, no, I think she's been knee deep in doing this.
Yeah.
Honestly, we haven't made any progress on that. We had talked right before everything shut down, and she was working on a calendar, and she was going to kind of get me in on it. But for the spring, we ended up doing it old school anyway. We were going to do it redundantly. And now the fall applications are coming in, so.
Do you think we could do that, or do you think we're going to be looking at January where we didn't get a chance this spring to use it?
Really depends how available Susan is.
Okay.
Sorry about that background noise. My neighbor's doing some drilling.
I'll email Susan and see if we can get an idea of what kind of resources she can give us, if it's whether it's going to be something we can do before then or not. The next is the spending operating plan that we had discussed before, which is why the reason I brought up the amount of money to make sure we had what we needed. Give me 1 second. I only have so many screens. All right,
You leaving?
it's coming now. Am I allowed? Do want me to show this to you guys? Celine, you're gonna have to let me share my screen, or I can just talk to it. I don't care either way.
About what?
I mean, about the cost expenditures.
So what are you asking me?
I can't share my screen so you can see the spreadsheet. So you need to allow me to do that.
How do I?
It should be down the bottom is where it says share screen. That should be something that either
Oh,
allows
shoot.
me or, and if not, it's not a big deal. We can figure it out.
You know what? I have all my work stuff just popped up.
All right, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Mike,
No.
do you have a green screen at the bottom that says share content?
Yes, it does, but it says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I can't do it. She'd have to allow me to do it.
Let me see if I can figure that out. What if I make you a co-host?
Should be able to then.
Yeah, I think that's what they were that Susan was talking about.
Is that you? Yeah, I just did. So do you have that green button?
Yes, I do now. Give me a second. I gotta figure out which one I'm sharing.
Next time I'll make sure all my work stuff is zeroed out.
There it is.
Wrong screen. Yeah, but I hit the wrong screen. I need the right. I need to get. I grabbed the wrong screen to share.
Do you want to?
Yeah, just give me a second. I gotta change it.
Next door. Walking out front.
That should be right there. Do you guys now see this?
I
Yeah.
see the screen, yes.
You see the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
All right, just had to bring it down. Sorry. Oh, that's why. All right, now does everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay. So when we were talking last about the money, this was our, based on the $50,000 we were allotted. These are all our expenses that we had planned per year. Those are monthly projections over the year.
Yep.
So if we started here, here's our operational budget information here, leaving us just under $14,000 a year to do what we needed to do in regards to any kind of programming or things we wanted to add to. So I don't know if anybody has ideas or things they wanted, if things we're missing in this, or if we have other ideas regarding the spending plan, which Mark, thank you for sending that document out. If we want to talk about that, we just got over the weekend. It's been kind of crazy around here too. So we may want to try and figure ideas, but it also, Alicia, are you aware of anything that right now, are we allowed to use the fields, or is that what Tracy sent me earlier today regarding the parameters? That's all we can do.
I would, if it's what she sent you, that's all you can do. Until phase 3, I think, opens.
So that means we cannot use indoors. We can only use outdoors.
Can
Right.
you send that document from Tracy to all of us?
Yeah, because I have no idea.
So
One second.
Going back,
This is the one she sent to me early today, and I will forward it to everybody right now.
So by the time we can be back on the fields, we're going to be starting fiscal year 2021.
That's correct.
So should we make spend some money on some things that we need?
Well, like I said, we have,
Like like a fridge for the field house, or what happened to the picnic tables are being made?
the picnic tables are being made. My son's working on them.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it. I'm going to have to go back to the town as well. But yes, he's already got the plans, everything drawn up for him.
Is there anything that we can purchase that we need that's like not a program, just because we can't really do any programs anyway?
Can
What
we
do people-
can we do those basketball hoops?
Well, it's kind of putting the cart before the horse.
No, what,
Well,
what
yeah.
about,
if it gets approved by the end of the month, we just got to meet again before the 30th. And then we can expend
Because
it
then
then
we-
if we want to.
And that would be a big chunk of money. of operational costs for the basketball court.
I just want to throw out there, I don't know if you're gonna need any COVID-19 supplies like hand sanitizer, that kind of stuff. I would shoot Tracy an email. All that stuff might be able to be refunded by the CARES Act because everything that's spent on COVID-19, we're keeping a track of it, and we're supposed to get reimbursed by the CARES Act. So I would plan on having hand sanitizer at the house, the rec fields,
Just-
even outside.
I'd be
that's
worried
my
about
thought.
having it outside, but I mean, just because you don't know who's going to be using it, whatever, we could go through it like water. According to and I'll share this next so everybody can see it. This is the town expenditures from 7/1 through 4/30, so it's about a month ago. And I'm trying to slide this around everything. So we've expended $21,000 and we still have $28,326 available before the end of June. So we still have, I mean, granted, that doesn't take in effect what we spent, the other $1,600 we just got, but we should still have, even with the expenses in May and June, we should still have over $20,000 that we should try to see if we can spend before the end of the fiscal year.
We lost,
David Broll. I think.
and Alicia.
No, Alicia's here. She's just muted.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
No, we thought you were missing. No, I said right now,
No, I'm here.
I said based on the expense, the amount of money available right now, it shows that we have, as of 4/30, we have $28,326.11. Yes, we have expenses from May that we've already paid. So even with that in June, we should still have about $20,000 to $22,000. I would think we'd have at least that much available if we wanted to use it for the year. And as David Broll had said, if we are fortunate enough to get the money for the courts, maybe where it's on the field and it's an expense, I wonder if we're eligible then to use the balance of our money towards the fencing or the basketball hoops or something that we could use towards that. Comments?
Well, you could purchase the basketball hoops now, but not have them delivered till after the field is done. I think we could work something out like that. But have we finalized how much the fencing is going to cost?
I had those numbers from a year ago. They were pretty solid estimates.
Yeah, about $2,000, I think. That's what the original fencing was from Central Street to the field house. And it's approximately the same length. So
I don't
not
have that on this computer, but I called 3 different places and got 3 different quotes.
What do you think, Dave? What fencing are you talking about?
The one that we talked about in the last couple of meetings, about the one that we were concerned with because the parking was driving and we're going over the
Right.
septic.
The chain, the fence that is similar to what is currently in place. Actually, it is in place now. That was put in by DPW. Has anybody seen that?
Seen the posts.
Yeah, the
Post
posts were
and
down there,
chains.
but I haven't seen, have they
The
put them
chains
already
are
up,
up.
Mark? Oh, excellent. I'll go by after the meeting.
Posts and chains are up, so it's a continual look from the road down to the septic, right angle at the septic tank with another gate structure set up. And at some point, my assumption is they'll take the gates that are currently located at the beginning, at the end of what is now the parking lot, and we'll move it to the next location.
Okay.
As you can see on the screen, for those that have video right now, here is the proposed budget that we submitted last year. And there's the 105 number. We had built-in contingency, but again, it depends on what we're looking at regarding to if we've got the fence already done, that's 5,000 off the list.
It's not showing.
So let's back up for a second. Celine, the fence you're talking about is the fencing for the basketball court, correct?
Yep.
All right, so there's 2 different, One is a safety barrier for the basketball courts. The other one is a parking barrier.
Yep.
Does anybody, do you see the slide now?
No.
The
Okay.
only slide I have is the monthly operation expenses.
All right, let me pull that one up then. Is this, you still seeing the same thing?
Yep.
Still the same thing.
All right, so
Can you guys hear me?
we can, David.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to get out of my car.
All right. But, all right, so the budget that we had talked about for the basketball court was 40,000 dig out underlayment, which I mean, again, I don't know what we can use, but we had $9,000 for the basketball hoops, and we had $5,000 for the black 4-foot high black vinyl fencing, is what we quoted back last year when we did this. So I'm not sure if either one of those we could use from our existing budget. And if we could, that would be, again, between the money we were getting from the other avenues, and if they're available to us, plus the money we'd have left, we could probably even cut this number in half, which would be a good start.
I missed the conversation about the fence. Does that mean that they're going to dig up where they've put the post right now and relocate them so we can put the basketball court there?
We haven't gotten the basketball court yet.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry.
Dropped everything on the list. So it's just us again.
But yes, David, I guess essentially that's what would happen eventually.
Is my video not working?
No, it's not. It's like, David, it's like fuzzy. It's almost like it's trying to work. It's almost like it's darkened out or something's leaning against it.
Oh, yeah, it is. Never mind. How's that?
You're there.
Gotta
Okay.
turn your phone around.
Oh, now he's sitting up for the pool. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
But regarding to any other spending that anybody had any ideas for?
Do we need anything for the field house?
We need a bunch of things for the field house. We had already talked about that last meeting about doing the fridge and all those other things that the appliances we could use in there.
Sorry about maybe put a big pong table in there. I don't know if that's a bad idea.
What did you use, a ping pong table?
Yeah, I thought we put in a ping pong table.
Yeah.
But we could definitely use tables and chairs because eventually we could do meetings in there.
We can get the TVs and stuff in there, we could, as long as people don't, we're only concerned about anybody breaking in.
Yeah.
So do we want to get a couple like 4 banquet tables, and I don't know how much Kevin you can fit in there.
You're talking like fold-up ones, Selena, or are you talking?
Yeah, like the white banquet tables.
Okay.
Square, round, I don't know.
Well, Mark sent out a document that we could use if you think of something you want to either price it real quick. I would recommend, and we can discuss this in new business, but we should try to meet again before the end of the month, just so we can make sure any expenditures we want to get in, we vote on them and get them put in before then. Because the 29th is the last Monday of the month, the 30th is the last day, and our first meeting would have been the 6th right after the holiday weekend. So I don't think anybody's going to be around.
Yeah,
So
we
that's why I
should
think
do that.
if
That's
we meet
fine.
the 29th, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. If everybody wants to put together a list, if you either want to send it to me or if someone wants to be more in charge of that, I'm more than willing. And let's get a list together so we know what we're looking at. And once we've heard the decision on the town, on the basketball court, and what we have, we can then adjust accordingly. Because if
Should
they
we-
come back and say no, then we do what we want to that way.
Yeah, that's the only problem with purchasing basketball net. I mean, the basketball hoops first is that if we buy them now and then the town says no, what do we do with them then, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So we'll know by the 22nd, that's the date of the town meeting. So
23rd, yeah.
23rd, yeah.
we'll know yay or nay on that. And then after that, if we meet on the 28th or whatever day we can meet,
We should
Yeah.
meet on the 25th. It's a
Right.
Thursday.
Awesome.
I mean,
Does
it's a
that work?
special thing to get it in because it gives us a few days to get things taken care of and voted. I mean, again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but just let's look at things that we can purchase. David, if you could do me, Dempsey, if you could do me a favor and get me an idea on the basketball the hoops and stuff,
Yep.
just to see what we're looking at expense wise. We had originally projected about $9,000,
All right.
1,500 a piece is what we were thinking.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. Celine, if you want to look at any of the appliances you think we have from there.
What do we say? Like a fridge and a microwave and
Yeah, nothing crazy.
little freezer, chest freezer?
No.
No?
I'd keep it very basic because if people are coming in and out, it's going to have a lot of wear and tear. And cleaning it and maintaining it, pain in the neck.
I know that feeling.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get some ideas price-wise for the 25th, one way or the other, because, I mean, even though we use the basketball hoops and all this stuff, we won't get anywhere near $20,000. So we got to figure out how we're going to handle that accordingly. Next thing on the list we have is the town employee for contacts for website and scheduling updates. When I talk to Susan, I'll see if I can find out who she's using for there. Concerns of animals on the field. I've had a few that I've broomed off when I've gone through, and I think anytime anybody's gone by, the same thing. I mean, there's no signage that says do not put, animals shouldn't be on the field. Am I incorrect in that statement?
The sign reads guidelines.
John.
Dave, you got to mute yourself if you're gonna talk to people outside the meeting.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
muted him.
The
thank you.
sign.
Your dog's over there. It's all right. I just didn't want it to get away.
The sign as you enter the property are just guidelines. They're not laws. They're just guidelines put out by the Recreation Committee. I believe it was adopted by the Board of Selectmen at that time as a guideline. It doesn't say you can't do it. The statutes on record about animals are enforced by the animal control officer. And he can ask, or they can ask the individual to rein in their dog if they are being a nuisance on public space, whether it's the school ground, the beach, which is different now, or recreational areas.
Well, other than trying to just let people know they're not supposed to have them on there and see if it's word of mouth. If you see them, then
I
just try
thought
and let
Tracy
them.
was gonna, did Tracy talk to you about that? She said at the meeting, she was gonna attend the meeting we didn't have and tell us what the rules were.
She did not, and I'll have to follow back up with her on that. I'll try and see if I can get her to attend the meeting on the 25th. Kent Way. I know very little bit about this, so if anybody's got any information regarding to ideas, ways, or things we can do to, we now know that Kent Way falls under our jurisdiction, but I'm not sure what we can use and what we can do. And I mean, trying to prepare that area, I can't even imagine what it would cost.
I can speak to some of that. That property was acquired by the town around the same time as Mantor Field.
Mhm.
The individual associated with the baseball came up with plans. They went through the Conservation Commission, got everything, plans put out to have 2 ball fields, parking, and I believe a smaller storage or concession area to help baseball alleviate their problem of running out of space, maybe taking some of the games off the upper or lower green, and we're using Spencer Pierce Little Farm. The revenue from that was not to construct that was not approved by the Recreation Committee. at that time. It was an extensive plan. We could have multiple plans. I have brought forth. Slaine, you have a copy of the conservation records and the plan, I believe. I dropped off at your house. But the idea is you can have a multi-stage area plan where we, clear most of that lot off. It's about 5 acres with access off of Lunt Way. We'd have to go through a permitting process because the Conservation Commission has expired, and work with the town manager to seek funds for environmental plans and to draw plans. She has money in her budget. The town administrator has money in her budget to do that specifically. It doesn't have to come out of our budget. And the idea is we could maintain a similar idea of what they had was 2 ball fields and a basketball court down there, and parking. We could come up with something else. I know it would be interesting to have an open field, a baseball field and an open field. So when Mantor is too wet for teams to practice on, they could go down there and dig it up. It doesn't need to be irrigated. It could be just like the back of Triton or the back of Newberry Elementary, just a field. It doesn't need extensive work. We'd have to do a little bit of soil work. I haven't found any records on its drainage capacity. We could go the whole 9 yards and dig it out, put gravel down, sand, and have it professionally irrigated. Not necessarily with water, but just so the water seeps through it. Dave, bro, what would be the word for that? If the water would come out, we'd have better access to it. We could, to help eliminate dogs on Mantor Field, we could put a dog park back there. We could put ball fields back there, or just open space. It has been suggested, and I firmly believe in it, that by increasing the parking for Lunch Street, from the Lunch Street area, we can work with Little League to have their players use most of that parking lot, so that the library doesn't get overwhelmed on days of games or days of practice. One of the complaints of the library is, particularly on the Saturdays of games, their parking lot is filled, and patrons cannot get into the library. And from the residents on Lunch Street, people park on both sides of that road, making it very congested. The idea is one model would be to start the approval process to clear the field and develop a parking area in phase 1. Then, depending on what the community needs are, it could be a ball field and a dog park. It could be 2 ball fields and a basketball. Maybe go out to the town and say to the town citizens and help them vote on it, instead of the 6 of us saying, here's what you want.
So I think that's a great idea to start by just having a plan to clear it and access it.
Tracy said that he would, under their budget, would pay for all of all the paperwork. So we just need to sort of tell her we want to do it and give her an idea, and then she would go and go do all that work under town budget.
Okay.
Dave, you broke up with me. Were you saying?
A while ago. Dave,
you broke up with me. Tracy said that DPW would pick up the cost for the clearing.
The town, yeah, about the property and what we would like to do. And she said the town has money budget to pay engineering study so that everything is sort of the beginning of what we want to do with it. I don't know about DPW, but as far as that can't do anything until study and there's a engineer and the town would take care of that.
Yep.
David, did you get that, Mark?
No.
Okay. David, I was in Mark's shoes. You were breaking up about every 3rd word.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your, it's just, we're all dealing with this. Don't worry about it. Just want to know where the money was coming from and who was the one that's saying it was going to.
I think it was from the town account to pay for the environmental studies,
Review.
something like that.
for the environmental review and planning. And at one point, as DPW has in the past, on their schedule, they would be able to, at minimal cost, start clearing it. Maybe that they need to rent a chipper, and that would come out of our budget, but that's short money to start getting the field cleared and developing a parking area for Little League. And it would be good to bring Matt and Janice in on this as president, vice president of the Little League softball, and work with them about accessing that particular field from that direction.
Great idea.
So should we have David or?
I was thinking David and Mark would kind of spearhead this and get an idea of what we need to do. And because what David Broll's already started talking to people, and Mark, you have probably more knowledge than anybody here on that. If the two of you would just kind of give us an idea of what we're doing and what needs to be done and what expenditures to us, because we can certainly we can jump on it. And if it's another place we can do things, it makes all the sense in the world.
I don't know. I hope I'm still not breaking up, but Tracy specifically talked about doing that and about what our plan should be and how about doing it and the initial pay for it. So she brought it up. So I don't know. I will speak. It's all. I find it difficult to get in touch with them, but I will do my best to sort of approach it again.
Do you mean Tracy, or you mean the town?
Yeah, both.
Okay. All right. Let us know if you have any problems. Alicia, do you think we'd have a problem getting a hold of Tracy if we need it?
If you have any problems, just let me know.
Okay.
Just copy her on any email, David, that you have, or if you're trying to get a hold of her, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Awesome.
That's why we have the best selectman with us.
All right.
All right. I apologize because this is a couple months old. The conflict of interest law for municipal employees.
Oh yeah.
Did everybody fill their forms out, do their things online?
Nope.
I still got to do mine.
And I think by tomorrow I was supposed to either re-up or not re-up to do another year with the rec committee. I don't know if you got information.
I did not get an email on that. I was hoping to see if we could postpone this a little bit. Alicia, I'm not sure if we are able to or not, or do we have to say yes or no by tomorrow? I hate to keep bringing her back in, but she's going to be the one saying yes and no to us. Because if not, we're going to have to decide. We're each going to have to decide if we want to continue or not. I said the last time, I'm hoping we all do. Mine's kind of contingent on the basketball court because I wanted to see. It's like, if we're not going to continue with it, then it's what else are we going to do? And then Kent Way all of a sudden makes things more interesting too.
Well, can we?
That's everybody's decision. You're going to have to decide what you want to do.
I was just going to comment on a conflict of interest.
Go ahead.
Can we agree to have it by July 1st?
Can we have it by June 28th, which is the Monday before?
Sure.
Mine's done, so I've taken care of that. So it's not that hard. It's not that. It's just a matter of going through it.
Can you resend that? Please.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll send it to the group.
Did we still do it online, Mike? Or
Yes. That's how I did mine.
okay.
I'll send it right after. We had the field applications, but now we're looking instead of the rest of the season. Now we're talking about the fall. So we did receive. Go ahead, Mark.
Depending on our decision and where we stand with, for lack of better terms, use of the fields for paid groups. Some organizations are leagues are considering summer programming and besides fall, trying to get 6 games in or something like that, just to keep the interest going, whether it's soccer at the recreational level, at the club level, same thing with lacrosse. So there, I think people are looking to us to say, and that's why Tracy's comment to you would be good information to have. Because I've been asked by a number of families, when can we start using the field for soccer? Can I go up as a family member? And I was led to believe that nobody's allowed on the field, although I do see many people using the field, families and whatnot.
Well, I sent the email from Tracy to everybody. It's already been sent, so you should have it in your inboxes regarding to the particulars regarding it. The biggest thing is there's no more than 10 people allowed in the field, and they've got to be 6 feet away.
Yeah,
So
a lot of the programs at the league level are developing their own policies that are beyond what the governor has asked for to ensure their players' safety. And they understand the 10-foot rule, the mask, they even go so far as hand sanitizer themselves. They go through drop-off pickup protocol. They're on top of it, exceeding what the governor has asked.
So I know all that, but there's the question of the Board of Health. Has the Board of Health has the final say on what can happen? And does it go from the Board of Health to Tracy and then Tracy to us, or how does that?
My understanding, because what I saw was the chief of police as head of the emergency management. He's the one who initially closed the fields. And the parking area. Is that correct, Alicia?
Yeah.
Does
So,
he have
yeah,
the
I can
final
provide,
say?
I can try to provide a little guidance on this and clarity. The chief of police is the emergency management official for the town, and he takes his direction from MEMA and the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and he works in concert with the health agent for the town of Newbury, which is Deb Rogers. Whatever phase of reopening outdoor activities will fall under, I think it might be phase 2 under a limited list of it, and then it will come out again in phase 3. Until the governor releases that and allows that phased opening, there can be no more than 10 people on the soccer field gathering at a time. The field should be closed to the public. Nobody should be using it. I know people do go and walk the field as a family and try to, hit the ball around. Technically, they're really not supposed to do that now. Although today, June 1st, with the phase reopening, that may be allowed now. So beaches, previously, I know the beach. The beaches were closed to the public for transient use only. That meant you could walk on the beach, and that's it. You couldn't put your chair there. You couldn't lie in the sun. If you were all by yourself in the middle of nowhere, it wasn't allowed. They have since changed the regulations on this, and they allow now people on the beach, but you have to stay 6 feet away. And New Hampshire just started today, I think, but they're not allowing anybody to lie on the beach. They just open their beaches for swimming and transient activity. So before the rec fields are open to any groups, you really need to circle back with the chief and find out, and they can tell you exactly what guidance it is. So if you have a plan, if there's a plan for these groups to have a plan and they have their plans, I would have them forward it to you. It should come before the rec committee, and the rec committee should review it and then send it to the chief of police for their final approval. The rec committee does not have the final authority on this. It's overridden because of the public health crisis.
So real quick.
Is that clear?
Yep. Real quickly, I drove by and I sent out a text to, I think, Mike. I drove by the other day, and one of those professional soccer groups, there was a guy doing some kind of training. He had the little little plastic cones on the ground and a dozen balls, and kids were showing up on their bikes. And so I ended up calling the police department and throwing them there. And I said, you know, as far as we know, as far as what I know, people weren't supposed to be, you know, doing any kind of organized activities on there. And there was, I think we counted probably a dozen people that, you know, it was like maybe 2 or 3 adults and probably, you know, 8 kids, 9, 10 kids. And
Yeah.
it was no doubt that it was one of the professional groups. It wasn't Triton Youth Soccer. The guy had sort of one of those
Right.
shirts on and stuff like that. So I said I was going to deal with it, and I went through the dispatch, which was not very easy, but eventually he got, you know, what I wanted to do, and I don't know what happened. I never heard anything more on it. But
So let me ask Mike Riley if you'll attend the next meeting, because you guys do need guidance
and then
as
the
to
other
what
thing,
can and can't happen down there.
is it possible, Mark seems to be pretty in tight with the Triton Youth Soccer. Is it possible that I know that Jason said once before, I think it was Jason, that he would chain up those soccer nets, because I
Yeah.
can go take the soccer net from the middle of the field, drag it down, and put it down with the rest of them. And then a couple
I
days
thought
later,
that was already done.
no, it has not been done. I can guarantee you I have been moving soccer nets now for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
All right,
can
I
give,
thought that was
Jason
already
a
done.
call. That won't be a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, they shouldn't be there because it's almost like an attractive nuisance.
Yep.
At least during this pandemic.
All right. Because we're not going to be meeting until the end of the month, near the end of the month, it does make it harder for people to want to, when we get to the phase stage where we can have groups of 10 or less available on the field.
Well, why don't we take that offline, Mark? Why don't you, me, and the chief of police have that conversation? And then I can circle back to the group and just give them their guidance. Are you guys okay with that?
Well, okay, July 1st.
We can-
Because some of them are looking at the league schedule and timelines and such.
Well, the fields
Yeah,
are,
they need, no, go Celine.
the fields are available. I mean, if they want to reserve times, it's just that,
As we'll get to later,
According to the governor's plan, this would fall under phase 3. All outdoor information like that. It says phase 3, which is
Okay,
3 weeks after 2 and 3 weeks after 1. So you're talking mid-July, I think would be the earliest it could be done, based on these dates.
okay.
If I'm
So
wrong,
I
Lisa,
think-
let me know.
I don't know that answer. I have to find out from the chief of police. So let's I have time this week. So do you want to address this tomorrow, Mark? Are you available tomorrow?
I can make myself available. Oh, no, I'm in upstate New York tomorrow. How about Wednesday?
Yeah, we can do it Wednesday.
I
That'll
won't
give me
ask you what time
tomorrow
you
to-
get up, but I will email you tonight and just let's pick a time.
Yeah, well, anytime after 8 would probably be good. I just need to follow up with the chief first. So let me follow up with him tomorrow. And then
Okay.
I'll set up a time. And all we have to do is have a call.
Yep.
X.
That is, I have the sign update, but at this point, I'm not worrying about that. The new business, we had the update bylaws to add programming. How do we do this and what we need, what are the steps we need? I want to add that and hold that with when Tracy comes in on the 25th. So I've already started my agenda for the next meeting, which I will have ready, but Celine, I'm going to need a Zoom thing to add to it for the meeting on the 25th. So the only thing on the new business I have is that the person who's looking to do the yoga that we explained, and Jason, who had sent his information in regarding the field applications, which right now, both are gonna have to be tabled until we hear back from the chief regarding to when we can have access to the field to do it. Once we have that, we know that, then we can let them know this is the time frame, this is what we're looking at. We may have some rec leagues that look, or soccer leagues that are looking at it, or lacrosse leagues, whoever. And then we can look at times that they may want to use one of the small fields to do it as well for their yoga, one of the fives.
No,
But I
the town administrator mentioned the yoga to me today. It's going to be volunteer. The woman's going to be volunteer. And she feels as long as they can socially distance them 6 feet apart and it's outdoors, that she felt as if it might fall under the phase 2 reopening. So I'm going to add that to the thing to talk about with the chief tomorrow. And maybe I'll have her come in on the meeting too.
I
was going to
Okay.
ask them both to be at the meeting the 25th, Alicia, if we could do it.
You want to have Mike there too?
Question. I can't see the difference between the yoga running a class and lacrosse running a class.
Oh,
If they
I
meet the
can,
same
absolutely.
guidelines.
No,
No,
they don't, because lacrosse runs and the kids breathe out more.
But they're-
Their breaths are more, and yoga is very passive. It's alone. It's the reason why they won't allow gyms to open up until phase 3 because of the activity of the breathing and outgoing breath. They don't want in yoga you stay on your mat. You're not running. You're not coming in contact with anybody else. I mean, if you're running a drill, that's one thing. I mean, I think it's all doable, Mark, but I don't think it's doable right now. And there's absolutely no comparison to staying still yoga on a yoga mat, 10 feet apart from everybody, and kids running on a field.
Well,
I don't see any.
again, I don't want to assume what your mental model of lacrosse practice or soccer practice is. But if the condition of using the field is they're not doing extensive running, and let's use the example of baseball, that they're out just playing catch and doing relays and standing at the plate and somebody pitches to them and somebody's in the outfield. They're not
Yeah,
just running around.
That may be doable. That may be doable. But to run and have a little scrimmage, I don't see
No,
that.
nobody's saying. See, Alicia, you're making an assumption of what the practice is going to be.
I think we need
Yeah,
to
well,
clarify
we're
what
gonna talk to
the
the chief.
expectations are, that's all.
Yeah, we're going to talk to the chief and we're going to get clarity from him because I do not the expert on this. I do not know. I have to defer to him.
I'm just trying to avoid where somebody says they get to use it and we don't.
Well, I think
Where is that gray line?
I think you do have to look at what Alicia's saying is that yoga is no comparison to lacrosse. Yoga is a stationary exercise where there's no body contact. And even if they're just doing simple drills, Mark, they're standing in line, they're moving around, there's access for even just running into each other or just passing each other. So I do think that you're talking about apples and oranges. I don't think there's a comparison. But again, I think it's all going to come down to what the chief says can be done and what can't be done. So
That's the bottom line. Yeah.
right. So to have the discussion about how practices are going to look or what they're going to simulate, I just don't. I don't think that makes any sense because it's all going to come down to what he says, and that's what we're going to follow. So,
All right, let's just point. Alicia, find out what we get from the chief, and then from there we can start making decisions on what we're looking at.
exactly.
Yeah.
This point.
Mark, can you send me the application of Stefano's for the fall? I never received that.
Yeah.
Does anybody else from the rec committee want to be in on that call? I can only have one other of you
For what call?
with the chief.
I'm fine with it too.
You don't, is that yes or no?
I didn't.
So David Broll, you want to join that meeting?
I will.
All right, great.
Okay. So that's it.
Tomorrow or
Just the two of you.
Wednesday, we're
Wednesday.
talking.
okay, Wednesday sounds great.
All right. That is all I have on the meeting right now. I have booked, I should say, last thing, do we want to schedule the next meeting for Thursday, June 25th, from 6 to 7:30 and do a Zoom call? This will
Yes.
wrap up our, we'll have the information regarding the town elections. We'll have the town meeting, and we'll have an idea of the direction on the health portion of it, as well as regarding to decisions made on the basketball court and other expenditures.
Right.
Yeah, I think you should post that now.
Already did. It's already up there.
Mike, one of the things that I believe I sent out to you from the agenda was, since the teams did not use the fields this spring and they paid, are we going to issue refunds, or how do we handle that income?
I think for this year, because of the extenuating circumstances, I think that's a reasonable request. We'll just
agree.
credit it towards next fall's. I mean, I guess the question in return is, are they crediting their players?
That's none of our business.
No, I think that the money,
Most of the leagues have respectfully asked that the organizations put money back to the players minus any of the annual expenses that they have to pay, such as insurance and registration fees.
Okay, so that's if normally per our policy, that would be a no, but they never even got their season started. So
Yeah.
I think
We were shut down before the season technically started.
yeah, we're not going to issue them a credit because I think that gets kind of, a check, because it gets kind of complicated with the town, but we'll apply whatever they've paid towards their fall. Does that work?
Anybody have any questions or concerns?
Nope.
All
I
right, can I
think
hear
that's a very good way to handle it.
can I have a motion then, please?
Make a motion that the rec committee offers a credit to the three organizations that have paid for field use on this past spring of 2020, and apply that funds to a credit to their next use of the field.
Thank you. I was just going to say, because lacrosse isn't playing in the fall. Nice catch, Mark. Do I
they
hear a
may.
second?
They may.
Oh, really?
Don't
Okay.
know.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Dave Dempsey?
Aye.
Okay. Sorry, you cut out in the middle. I just want to make sure we're okay. So yes, that has been passed.
So I can, permission to
Mike,
write
you
to the
need to
three
do-
organizations to let them know that they'll have a credit for next
That's correct.
next use.
All right, Mike,
Okay.
you need to do a roll call vote.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. Since I'm looking at the screen, Celine,
yes,
you, Mark,
Yes.
Dave Dempsey,
Yes.
David Broll.
Yes.
So my answer is it's a vote of 4-0 that next will issue credit towards their next league's season they choose to participate in. Okay. Anybody else have anything else at this point? Because I've now booked the meeting for the 25th. And as of right now, I have on my list, I'm going to check, just kind of go back and look at the funding on the $1,200 and the $431 on the fertilizer and the propane. Check with Susan Noyce regarding the calendar and an employee to help us with the website, and see if we can get Tracy and Mike for the meeting on the 25th. And I've already sent everybody their conflict of interest links so they can do that online. And I'll respond to the yoga and let them know as soon as we get updates regarding the status of the field and when we can do things. We'll go from there.
and then Mark, David is going to follow up on the environmental stuff for,
With Tracy, with the town.
And so other homework, so the environmental stuff and the other homework is we are supposed to come up with a list of wants for the June
Yes,
25th meeting, correct?
yes.
that's correct.
And I guess the other question for me is, I not play more if I see people on the field. What do you think I should do there?
If you see people on the field, you can text me, or if you want me to, or you want to contact the police, if it's in any way that looks like it's exceeding the 10 number on the field.
Okay.
Because technically, until we get to phase 2 or 3, they're the
Yeah, but-
ones that are responsible for it.
It's my
We're
understanding
gonna
that,
ask,
right, have been completely closed. They're not supposed
yeah,
to be,
so we're gonna.
Right.
Yep, you go, Dave.
it's my understanding they're not supposed to be on the field anyways. And that's a violation of the chief of police, who's our emergency coordinator, of what what he said, that they shouldn't, those fields should be closed.
So we'll know
So-
when.
Dave, yeah, we're gonna add that to the discussion with the chief on Wednesday.
Okay.
And real quick question, who has the bird?
Not me. I got too many kids and a dog.
Someone's got a bird.
That or I'll put it in a tree, and half my trees are gone.
Are you
Do I
David
hear-
with the bird?
David Dempsey, do you have the bird hanging around you?
No, I got a couple of birds actually. I'm sitting out on the front porch in my swing chair.
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell. Nice and cash.
The birds are right there in the lilac bush, so I can't. They're hanging out.
You can't mute them?
They
Come on.
sound wonderful.
Yeah,
All right.
except at 4:30 in the morning when they're waking me up, but that's all right.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn at
7:17. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
I have to roll call it. Celine,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
we're done.